I think it's deeper than that. What can you add value to? How can you add value to your clients' lives?
The Business Lab.
Welcome to another episode of the Business Lab podcast. Today, my guest is Qamarul Yaqin, Senior Financial Services Director of Sing Capital Private Limited. Hi, Qamarul.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. So we are really excited to kickstart this episode. Before we go into that, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Craft by 3 and ID Entity, and of course our media magicians, StudioFive Corp. Right? And for today, we'd like to dive straight into the world of investments and the space that you're in, Qamarul.
Yeah.
Right? So tell us a little bit more about the company that you're in, IBW.
So IBW is Integrated Barakah Wealth Advisory. We are an all-Muslim independent financial advisory firm. And right now, being an independent advisor, we work with 30 different banks and insurers to make sure that we can customize clients' portfolio exactly to what they need. Yeah.
30 different banks and insurers.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Maybe before that, we'll scale it a little bit, zoom in, right?
Yep.
So we'll scale down a little bit. So Qamarul, can you tell us a little bit more about IBW, Integrated Barakah Wealth? What is it about?
So Integrated Barakah Wealth Advisory is an independent Muslim financial advisory firm. So right now we are 30 strong, and the unique thing about being an independent financial advisor is that we can work with 30 different banks and insurers. So right now in this space, it is really growing. The IFA space. Insurers are always fighting with each other to get a bigger slice of the market share. So our clients always end up as winners. As an
So
IFA.
just for the sake of the audience, what does IFA stand for?
Independent financial advisor. It means that we're not tied to any company.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we represent the client's interests. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that sounds very impressive, right? How does IBW approach investment strategies, especially in a volatile market situation?
So we adopt a comprehensive and adaptive approach to investment strategies, particularly in volatile market conditions. We prioritize a deep understanding of our clients' financial goals and risk tolerance by leveraging on extensive network of partners and staying updated with both local and global market trends. We are able to provide real-time data-driven advice. Our strategies focus on diversification, risk management, and long-term growth, ensuring that our clients' portfolios are resilient and well-positioned to capitalize on market opportunities.
Interesting. Okay. So, what are the key principles that guide IBW's investment advisory services, especially during economic uncertainties?
That is a very great question. So, in terms of the market, we have seen a very strong bear run back in 2020. Most funds, dropped by almost 40%. So a few core principles that we have at IBW is that there's always the diversification. There are a few core principles that we have. So the first one is diversification, which means that we spread our clients' investments across different asset classes to mitigate the risk. So it's like the saying, you don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? Then there's also the risk management. We are always assessing and adjusting risk levels based on what's happening in the market right now. It's like having a radar, constantly scanning for changes in the market. We also have a long-term perspective on investments because when we meet our clients and they tell us that they want to invest, right? We always tell them to focus on the long-term growth rather than getting caught up in short-term gains, because at the end of the day, it's all about patience and seeing the bigger picture.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on to investment options for Singaporeans. Right? What are the traditional investment options that's available to Singaporean investors, and what are their advantages and drawbacks?
Okay, so traditional investment options for Singaporeans include stocks, bonds, real estate, and fixed deposits. Stocks they offer a higher potential growth returns, but the volatility is very high. Most people who go into stocks investing without the proper knowledge will often get burned by the market lah. Right, and then we also have bonds, which is quite common in Singapore. It provides a very stable return, lower risk, although they most likely yield lesser than stocks lah. But the most, I think it's always a Singaporean dream. It's always to own more real estates, right? It is one of the most traditional way of growing your wealth in Singapore, but it requires a very big amount of capital, and more often than not, you are always locked into the market for between 1 to 3 years, but it offers great returns in terms of capital appreciation when the price of the property goes up, or you have liquidity in terms of renting out your property. Yeah. Lastly is the fixed deposit. This is the safest, and because it offers a guaranteed returns, but with lower interest rates, normally it is not as attractive. It really depends on the interest rate environment. Yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing. I'm very curious to know, in what way does IBW encourage your clients to consider innovative investment approaches in today's market?
IBW encourages clients to explore innovative investment approaches by educating them on emerging trends and opportunities such as sustainable investing, technology-driven investments, and alternative asset classes or products like fixed coupon notes or structured notes. We provide a comprehensive insights and analysis to help clients understand the potential benefits and risk of these innovative approaches, and how they can complement traditional investment strategies to achieve a balanced and diversified portfolio.
Yeah, Qamarul, you mentioned about risk just now, right?
Yeah.
How does IBW educate your clients in terms of managing the risks associated with such investments then?
Right. We place a very strong emphasis on client education. So our advisors conduct very detailed discussions with clients to explain the risks and potential rewards associated with different investment options. We use tools such as risk assessment questionnaires, scenario analysis, and regular portfolio reviews with our clients to ensure that they are well informed and comfortable with their investment decisions. Additionally, we provide resources for our clients like seminars, webinars, and even a bi-weekly market update to keep our clients informed.
Wow, it's quite a good ecosystem of support there.
Yeah.
Right? How does IBW protect the client's investment. Let's talk about that, okay? How do you advise your clients to protect their investments during the market downturns then?
During market downturns or crisis, IBW advises clients to stay calm and avoid making impulsive decisions. More often than not, as an advisor myself, whenever a market dips, you can either see it as an opportunity for you to buy more of the units of the particular fund, or which is the most common, most people will just cash out. But we really stress the importance of maintaining a very diversified portfolio to spread out the risk, which means that your portfolio consists of funds from the equities space, the money market space, bonds, fixed income. Yeah, just to make sure that you are fully spread out.
Right, so spread out the diversify kind of the investments. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of strategies does IBW recommend for investors who are looking to capitalize on opportunities presented by these fluctuations in the market?
To capitalize on market fluctuations, we always recommend a proactive approach that includes identifying undervalued funds, investing in sectors poised for recovery or growth, and taking advantage of dollar cost averaging to reduce the impact of market volatility. I give you a very good example back in 2020 when the tech funds were dropping like flies, 40% down. What we did during that time was to move most of our clients' money into a money market fund where it is generally more stable. So that's where we preserve our clients' investments and their capital, and when it is the right time for us to go in for to ride the bull in that sense, that's where we shift our clients' money out back into the equities space.
Okay, interesting that you're going into how you're helping the clients themselves protect their wealth and preserve it, and even grow the money, right? So by the same token, can you share some success stories or perhaps some case studies whereby IBW strategies helped the clients to navigate this volatility in the market?
I think first and foremost, we need to understand how the interior design industry works here in Singapore. So majority of the IDs or the people who work within the interior design companies, most of them are actually freelancers. They are not employed based on a full-time basis, so they work on a commission basis. So, and some business models or some ID companies want to have a lot of ID so that they can close a lot of projects on. My personal tip here is start with visiting the IDs that you have shortlisted or you're interested in. Look at their place of work, look at how they work, look at their office. Once you have done that, I think what you should also do here is to ensure that these IDs that you potentially want to engage are HDB licensed. Last but definitely not least, and to me the most important, because I think nobody do this. Okay. Once you have confirmed, or let's say for example, you really want to sign with this ID company, right? Go to Accra website and pull out the company's profile. Firstly, you know who are the directors, you know where is their office, you know when they were incorporated. Most importantly, you know how much they actually put in as the initial investment or their capital. So in the context of my industry, right, the ID industry, right, I always advise my clients, don't look for cheap, look for value. Okay? Because cheap don't guarantee you that you're gonna get what you want. Okay? Because in order to be cheap, there are corners that I need to cut. But instead look for value. And when I talk of value here, it's not just what I use to build your home, how I communicate with you, how prompt am I, how am I, how I can advise you. These are all the value I add. So like for us, because I maintain a very small team, right? So we only manage between 2 or 3 projects a month. We don't do a lot of projects. So this way, my people are better at managing that project. We are at site more frequent. We are constantly there to check if there are mistakes being made. And our communication with the owners are more frequent, more kira macam more in depth. We are able to. Yeah, correct.
So for me, I'm managing about 280 over clients. It's not a lot, but during the 2020 pandemic, that was the first time actually that we started seeing markets started to do a major correction, which means that it starts to drop, right? And that was also the time where I had to address my clients. I had to speak to my clients, telling them to stay calm. We don't know where the market is going at right now. So what we're going to do is going to just move your money to money market funds. But when during the time where a lot of people started to go back to work, working from home, and they were using Zoom a lot, tech funds started to really move upwards of almost 40 to 50%. So positioning your managing your clients' expectations is one of it. You always have to we always have to be constantly communicating with our clients. Another thing is, when is the right time for us to move in to start making money or recover the losses for our clients. That's where I see a proactive approach from your advisors is very important.
A proactive approach.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Can you share with us some besides these success stories? I was wondering whether you can share this maybe real life experiences that you have, right? Of how you said your team has 30 people, right? How you're managing this team,
right.
as a senior financial services director. I'm sure it's not an easy feat.
No, it's not.
What are some of the challenges you had to go through, and share some of the perhaps even case studies of how you grew the team and make sure that they're performing?
First and foremost, in terms of managing the team, I have very dedicated advisors, very experienced advisors. I have very capable managers who are able to help me with the day-to-day operations, the training program, the structure and foundation of the district itself. My job as a senior financial services director is to set the vision, set the goal for the team, and to constantly speak with different insurers to make sure that we get the best support from them. How I grew my team is definitely not easy, because there's so many financial advisors right now. So I'm constantly telling my advisors, how can we be different? We hear so many stories where clients buy an investment policy, and then the advisor go missing for a year, and the next thing you know is that you get a call from your financial advisor and trying to upsell you something just because, right? So I'm telling my advisors, and I'm training them on a weekly basis, is to always serve rather than to sell. Because when we do that, and we put forth our clients' interests in whatever that we do in our line of work, the business will always grow naturally. There's barakah in there.
I like the use of the word barakah, right? You said that you focus more on servicing, right, and instead of selling, right? Why do you think that's such an important distinction for financial advisors, servicing versus selling?
Right, because we are dealing with people's money, right? You need to build the trust. You need to build a relationship with the client. So it's more than just it's my client's birthday, I'm gonna buy a birthday cake, I'm gonna send a birthday cake, send a birthday card to them. I think it's deeper than that. What can you add value to? How can you add value to your clients' lives? That's one thing. It's even a bigger picture. But in terms of their portfolios, I'm always telling my advisors, always put aside, Monday or Tuesday, to get hold of, to reach out to all your clients, update them on the investments, what's happening on the market, because this on its own requires a lot of effort, and sometimes clients don't reply, but we've done our part, which is to let them know what's happening on the market, because at the end of the day, when we talk about relationship, the trust, right? People always have this notion that I give $5,000 a year to this policy, and you're only working probably an hour just to call me and tell me that I've got to do a policy review, and the next thing I'm buying another policy. So most importantly is to make sure that our clients during the review is to make sure that they are very their portfolio is comprehensive enough, and at the end of the day it's just managing the funds that is in their portfolio. Yeah.
Okay. So focus on managing of their funds and be very client centric.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So I'm sure in your line, especially for your team, and you also do selling, right? It's not easy because sales is a big part of the business, right? How do you ensure that your team can do a balancing act of both the service and the selling? Because just now we spoke about the service part. What about the selling part? Like, how do you ensure that they're prepared when they go out there and
Okay, so what I like about being an independent financial advisor, right, is that firstly I'm not tied to any company. So normally in a month, during that 1 week, we will have different insurers coming in to train us on different policies, different investment ideas, investment strategies. So when all that is done, the practical part is where we go for the case studies. So I make sure my advisors go through case study sessions at least once a week, because to be honest, not everybody will go for 2-3 appointments a day, right? Some will go for 3 appointments a week, but they need to always sharpen their axe. So by the time they go out to meet a client, they have all this knowledge and information ready at their fingertips to be shared with the client.
I love how you're sharing about the tools and the skills an advisor needs. Right? So I like to zoom into that. Right? What are some of the skills that a person needs to have in order to become a very competent advisor in that case?
First is I have advisors who are what do you call that, introverted, and I have extroverted advisors. And to be honest, a lot of people think before they jump into the industry, right, I need to be an extrovert. Why? Because I'm meeting a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of rejections. My social battery is going to go low very, very quickly when I meet these people. Some of my top performers in my district are introverts. What I always emphasize when I meet up with candidates who wants to join the industry is that you need to have first the grit, the determination, and also you want to improve your knowledge in terms of how can I add value to my client's portfolio? How can I add value? Can I create a networking session for my clients? So it's more than just selling.
Right.
It's more about the inner belief, the belief system. So what the three of us, as in my 2 managers, do is that we focus a bit more on the belief system of the advisor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us more. What do you mean by this?
So we have advisors who come from who are ARS certified, right? And they have been studying the Islamic religion for 15, 20 years. And suddenly you're telling them to sell an investment plan. So our job is to remove this lead, from their cup, which is basically the potential. As leaders, this is what we have to do. We have to identify what are the limitations that the person have, and then we go through a rigorous training, not a brainwash in that sense but to really adapt. To be adaptable to the industry. Right. So and most of my advisors, they have different vision of what a financial advisor is like. So I have advisors who only want to focus on the mummy market, right? Okay. So my job is to make sure that she has the right tools to penetrate into this group of mothers, and essentially that is what leadership is all about.
Wow, I love this segue into leadership and leading a team. leadership is a big part of leading a team, right? And just now you mentioned about some traits, example, grit, and then you mentioned about adaptability. How about qualities of leaders, right? What does it take to be a good leader in your point of view, especially in your space?
I truly believe that when you are a leader, right, especially in the FA space, you really have to put your advisors' needs before yours. You know, I can go for 7 appointments. I can close $15,000 a week. But if my advisors are struggling, there's no sense of achievement for me. And this is at least what I am trying to put across to my two managers and also my future leaders, is that we have to sacrifice a little bit, on our end to make sure that your advisors can earn a decent income. And to make sure that they can really add value to their clients' portfolio.
And just taking what you said, sacrifice a little bit. Sometimes it's a lot of sacrifices, I'm sure, right?
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
Right? Okay, so what you're saying is the willingness to sacrifice and the willingness to do what's best for the advisor.
Yeah. Correct. So, in the IFA space, the job itself is very demanding. I'm always telling my advisors, 2 to 5 is where you prospect, you call, very intensive. So what I do, and I understand, I was an advisor once, I tell them, let's every 2 weeks, every 2 Fridays, we will all gather, probably at East Coast Park, or we would tukar-tukar tempat lah, we would change areas, just to have tea. And we don't talk about work. We talk about life, which sometimes leads to work, but I have to make sure that they are always joking and talking, and that is very important. Sacrifices also, I have coached my advisors. Suddenly I was a life coach. I have an advisor who wants to get married this coming January, and he doesn't know how to balance in terms of how do you balance family, leadership, you're managing a team and working on sales. So he met up with me at about 11. We spoke all the way until 3. Wow. And I was back in office at 9 the next day. Wow. So that is the kind of sacrifice that I'm talking about. When you want to lead a team, that is the sacrifice that is required.
Beautiful. So grit, adaptability, and the willingness to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing with us the qualities of great leaders and also great FAs, and of course about the investment strategies that IBW provides for the clients. I really appreciate you having here. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this episode. That was Qamarul Yaqin, the Senior Financial Services Director of IBW, Integrated Barakah Wealth. Thank you again to our sponsors, ID Entity and Craft by 3, and of course, Media Magicians, StudioFive Corp. Catch our episode on wherever you get your podcasts, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. Please share, like, subscribe, and comment so we start the conversation going. Till next time, thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.